Today, we look at Jaquet Droz and some very expensive cuckoo clocks. Now, before we begin talking about anything, I'm going to say Jaquet Droz. I don't know if that's the correct way to pronounce it. I'm too lazy to look it up. Could be Jaquet Droz, it could be Jaquet Droz, whatever it is. I'm gonna say Jaquet Droz. So the catalog came very quickly, and it is a very high quality catalog. It has great quality prints, great large images, it's a great big catalog, and a nice form factor, great layout. Everything is great except for the cover. What is it with these catalogs that the better the interior, the worse the cover? Go figure. The cover should be nice. I mean, it is soft cover and a bit thin for the size of the catalog, but it's okay. The thickness of the catalog makes up for the lack of hardcover, and it is a very nicely designed cover. You have the signature Jaquet Droz design, the large seconds, and it's black, and usually you would think that a black page is better than a white page because it won't get dirty that quickly, won't it? Well, this one did already start fraying at the corner and shows this sort of, well, a little bit of an ugly mark there. So that could be because I have extremely clammy hands. So that could be a problem just with me. So, but overall the feeling of this catalog is that it is very well executed. It has great quality and everything is good. But there is just something about this catalog that prevents it from being a coffee table book. There's some little detail that's just missing. I don't know what it is. I don't know why. I mean, there shouldn't be anything missing. It has incredible photos, incredible quality. The pages are thick and lustery, and it's just wonderful, but there is just something missing that prevents this from being like the Lange catalog. I don't know. I don't know what it is. It's sort of like when you go to a concert, and I'm training to be a classical pianist. It's like when you go to so I'm going to talk about like if you go to a concert, especially classical, but I guess this applies to all music really. And you go to a concert and you have and some artists, some performers captivate you. There's something about them that you can't describe, but just makes you edge closer to them. Just this factor. While there are others who have great technique, they play their pieces perfectly executed and everything is great, but something about it, I mean, they might even be exciting, they might even be interesting, but they're not special. They don't have that inexplicable quality that makes them the best. Now onto the content of the Jaquet Droz. We begin with the history, as is becoming usual. So some particularly interesting things to note is they claim that it was the first, basically the first automatic watch that's also a repeater. Now they say to oscillating weights, but that's basically the way you make a pocket watch an automatic, by using the swaying of your body to these slight movements to wind the watch, instead of an automatic, which, well, we fling our hands all over the place, so we can use a rotor that rotates all the way around. And you also have a pocket watch from 1784. It shows that their Grand Second design certainly isn't anything new. One other particular thing to note is that they, in this history, they say that some economic problems and all, and Jaquet Droz basically fell apart, and that was the end of Jaquet Droz. It never does say how they came back on their feet. So, for all I know, we are still not seeing the greatness of Jaquet Droz. They are still in a slump. Pages 18 to 19 really show what Jaquet Droz, as a extremely high-end watch manufacturer, is their mission, their goal in watchmaking. It isn't really movement finishing. It is the art finishing, the art aspect of especially the dials, but not really the movements, not really the mechanical finishing, but the art finishing, the individually painted, the incredible details of the feathers on this, like a parrot, the feathers on the parrot, the engraved butterfly, the teeny tiny gold leaf sculptures. It is certainly incredible, and we'll get to that towards the end of the catalog more, but really that is what Jaquet Droz is about. After that we have the 8 codes of Jaquet Droz. So let's see what they have to talk about here. Code number 1, Gran Seconde, saying that it's such a noble design, such a bold but noble design. In my personal opinion, I think it certainly looks extremely noble on a pocket watch, but it loses a bit of that nobleness on a wristwatch. Any design really loses its nobleness on a wristwatch, but you can really, in this photo here, you can really kind of see the difference between the pocket watch nobleness and the wristwatch nobleness. Of course, the rest of the description is a bunch of meaningless fluff. I mean, I don't know, I don't see why they have to talk so much about this design. It's a nice design, and you either like it or you don't. One thing nice about the design that I forgot to mention is the changing from the Roman numerals to the Arabic numerals, where the Grand Second overlaps the hour and minute dial, which I think is pretty interesting and unique. Code number 2, Ultimata. Now this is another aspect of why I say Jaquet Droz is about art and not mechanical finishing. Ultimata certainly are a mechanical aspect, but as compared to sort of making watchmaking more precise and all that, they're more of an art form. They're more of this taking of something mechanical and turning it into real life, basically. That's the goal with Ultimata. Now, one interesting thing about Ultimata is that you could theoretically abbreviate it as ATM, which is basically what you are wearing on your wrist when you wear one of these Ultimata wristwatches. And code number 3 is art. Like I said, I think the whole mission of Jaquet Droz revolves around this artness of watchmaking, and also the engraving on the watch case. I'm not sure if I would want this kind of detailed engraving on my watch case. First of all, it'll naturally fade with time faster than if it's sealed into the movement or the dial inside the case of the watch. And 2, I am not a really gentle person with these watches. Not that I would not be gentle with a watch as expensive as a Jaquet Droz in the first place, but when it has this extremely detailed engraving, I would have to be really careful about not hitting it anywhere. A bang or a scratch in a gold case might, well, even if it doesn't polish out, it's not that big of a deal. A bang or a scratch in a flat, polished gold case is far easier to fix than a bang or a scratch in a case with fine engraving. Now, code number 4 is Grand Feu Enamel. I love enamel watches. I think they are amazing. They say they hold up to time and are always beautiful, and I'll agree with that. There is something about an enamel dial that really is mesmerizing. One thing to note though is that they claim that the techniques required to do enamel have all been figured out and hold no more secrets for them. No true artist ever says that. For an artist, there's always room for improvement, always something they can do better. Okay, they learned how to do enamel, they learned all the techniques, now they look for ways to make them easier and better and make it all that. Which makes me wonder, who wrote this catalog? Code number 5 is the case. Nothing really to talk about here. It's a nice case with sort of this very thin bezel around that makes room for a very open dial, giving room for some of the art components of Jaquet Droz. And of course the case is better than an Alangonzona case. So that's something, I guess. Code number 6, Exceptional Mechanisms, presents us with a huge block of text. So let me try to break it down for you. A lot of it is fluff, but the first sentence says that they always have cutting-edge watchmaking technology. Now, I wouldn't agree with that. Modern cutting-edge watch technology consists of quartz, specifically high-frequency quartz. So I don't know how they can say cutting-edge watchmaking technology in the quartz era. If they said cutting-edge watchmaking techniques or mechanisms, I could understand that, but technology, not really. One more thing that I discovered when reading this big block of text. Something I didn't know about Jaquet Droz and that I find quite surprising, but maybe it explains all of their watchmaking. Did you know that Jaquet Droz makes all of their watches with a clover leaf? Code number 7 is my favorite section, rocks. Minerals. They did choose a nice watch for this photo, showing one of their watches that actually does have a mineral dial. And they do something interesting with their rocks too. And Jaquet Droz cuts those dials, and I quote, "from rough materials in their raw state." I don't know what else you cut a dial from if you're working with minerals than from something in its raw natural state, but who am I to know these things? Code number 8, numerus clausus, limited editions. I don't like limited editions. I think they take away from being able to own a watch, of course, because they're a limited edition. I do like that they come clean with this, that their limited editions are specifically designed for making a watch more exclusive and, well, more luxurious. Though whoever came up with the number system for their limited editions, I think had a bit too much fun the day he decided on the numbers. 1, 8, 28, or 88 pieces. Or he just likes the number 8. After that, we get to the collections. And overall, I'd say that the Grand Second is pretty well developed. I think that they took the Grand Second design and really developed it nicely through the Grand Second and the next collection, the SW collection. Now, the Astrale collection, I think, is a Jaquet Droz watch for somebody who doesn't like Jaquet Droz Grand Second but wants to have a Jaquet Droz. These watches have that dreamy feel of a Jaquet Droz without having a Grand Second, which is really nice that they offer that. Now the ladies collection, I do like the sizes of these ladies watches. I personally think that ladies watches should be either very small, like what do they have, 25 millimeters. 25 millimeters, very small, and personally I think a woman's watch should either be in that 25 millimeter size or 40 millimeters. So either have a perfectly sized watch for everyone, or if you want a specific women's watch, it's gotta be very small. These 34, 35, 36 millimeter women's watches just, I don't think they work well. And with that, we move on to the Ultimata Collection. This is really Jaquet Droz's element. This is what they do best, the Ultimata. The bird repeater, the tropical bird repeater, the parrot bird repeater. And these are all the bird repeaters. I think they're each pretty unique in their Ultimata, especially the tropical bird. And what I also love about these watches is that you combine a minute repeater, something I absolutely adore, with the Ultimata side of Jaquet Droz and the micro painting side of Jaquet Droz. And you have all of that sort of without needing to customize, which we will get to later. Without needing to customize anything, you get a watch with incredible art finishing that really feels well designed together, sort of cohesive with the different elements. Now see with the charming bird repeater, which I'm not sure if I love the design and I don't think this is a watch for me, but the mechanical side of it I really do appreciate. We also have the Lady 8 Flower, which is it's an Ultimata watch for the ladies. Butterfly, signing machine, so the Ultimata extend beyond just the watches. And the whistling machine is probably my favorite of the Ultimata. So we have the Atelier d'Art collection, which really has a bunch of sets of time-only watches that each have a facet of Jaquet Droz's artistic capability. Just one facet, but it shapes the entire watch. The art of enameling, which is absolutely spectacular. The art of palionné enameling. This is enameling with covering ornamental palons, or however you pronounce it. Tiny motifs cut from gold leaf. I have no idea how they get this kind of detail from gold leaf, but they do, and it's utterly spectacular. This I haven't seen anywhere else with any other watchmaker ever, and is pretty spectacular. Sculpted and engraved ornamentation. This is also something really spectacular. Bas relief and mosaic, another thing that I haven't seen. The mosaic one I haven't seen anywhere else in this kind of art. Intaglio printing, also I haven't seen this anywhere else. And we get to a couple pages showing watches that you can customize. And we go to these 2 pages showing a bunch of customized watches. So my thoughts on the catalog, as much as I like to make a bit of fun at the fluffy writing in the catalog, it is a well put together catalog. Like I said, it doesn't give me that tingle that the Lange catalog does, but in many ways it's actually better than the Lange catalog, and it has some great information on each of the watches, great photos. Everything is well put together, it's cohesive, you have the same style of showing things throughout the entire catalog. It's all great. As for Jaquet Droz as a whole, I do like the company, especially for the Ultimata and the art techniques used in their watches. And while the catalog may not make me have that tingle, I do get the tingle from the tropical bird repeater or the other bird repeaters and some of the Atelier d'Art collection pieces. I do think of them as really special pieces. But whichever watch you get, you can be proud that you have a watch that was engraved, finished, and assembled with a clover leaf. Thanks for watching the video to the end. If you liked it, please subscribe and like the video. Perhaps consider supporting me on Patreon. Any support would be greatly appreciated. I will be coming out with catalog collectors once a week for the foreseeable future. Of course, until I run out of catalogs. We'll see what happens then. See you in the next one.